Okay, let's unpack this. Imagine a moment when, well, the world holds its breath. Headlines are screaming and you're scrambling for answers. Today, we're not just diving into the news, we're diving into your immediate questions. We're talking about the U.S.-Iran conflict, specifically around a key event that really sparked huge public curiosity. It's often called Operation Midnight Hammer. But here's the twist for this deep dive. Our sources aren't, the usual news articles or official reports. No, they're the raw, unadulterated search queries, typed by people just like you, right in the moments after things unfolded. This isn't about what the news told people. It's a fascinating, almost real-time snapshot of what people urgently wanted to know, what worried them, what questions were really top of mind.
Yeah, what's truly fascinating here is how these queries give you a direct, unfiltered pulse of public concern. It really is. It's kind of a shortcut to understanding the collective mind in a crisis. You see exactly what someone hit enter on in that crucial, uncertain moment. It reveals those immediate anxieties and really urgent information needs.
That immediacy is striking, isn't it? It's almost like the public was curating its own breaking news feed, telling us what they genuinely needed to figure out. So our mission today is to extract the most important nuggets of knowledge, the insights, by exploring what you, the public, were most curious about during this pivotal time. It gives you a unique understanding of that information scramble in real time. So first things first, what was top of mind? Well, unsurprisingly, it was the raw fact of the event itself. Searches like U.S. bombs Iran or U.S. attacks Iran. Very stark, very direct. But what's maybe more telling is how quickly a specific name, Operation Midnight Hammer, and just Midnight Hammer, became linked with the action. It wasn't just any attack. It was this specific named operation that people latched onto.
Exactly. And if you look at the frequency of terms like Trump bombs Iran or us bombed Iran, even did Trump bomb Iran today, it highlights more than just, who's responsible. It shows this real-time, almost minute-by-minute hunger for confirmation, for immediacy. It's not just who, but trying to verify it, put it in context with the current leadership. Fast. And what's also notable is how quickly us strikes Iran nuclear sites popped up.
Yeah, that's specific.
Very. It suggests an almost immediate public leap to a specific high-stakes target. It really reflects those underlying worries about Iran's capabilities.
Which, well, that brings us very quickly to the why and the who. Once people grasped what happened, the next obvious thing was why and who ordered it. The sheer volume of searches, starting with why did Trump attack Iran? Why did the Iranians bomb Iran? Why is the Iran attacking Iran? That tells a story. It wasn't just about facts. It was the public trying to make sense of a huge event, fit it into their understanding of, how things work internationally. It really speaks to a deep need for a narrative, for justification, not just raw data.
And in trying to get that why, people naturally looked at the central figures, the dominant searches for Trump, Donald Trump, President Trump. It clearly shows an intense, immediate focus on the commander-in-chief, the ultimate decision-maker in their eyes.
Makes sense.
And similarly, you saw terms like Pentagon, White House, and CENTCOM appearing often. It shows where people expected the official word, the directans, to come from, sort of a search for institutional clarity behind the action.
Okay, so beyond the immediate conflict itself, there was this other area that saw a huge surge in queries, and it points to a deeper, maybe more chilling anxiety. Iran's nuclear capabilities. What exactly were people looking for there? We saw this significant cluster, right? Searches directly related to Iran's nuclear program in specific places. People were actually typing in site names like Fordo nuclear site, Natanz, also spelled Esfahan, and Isfahan nuclear facility. That level of detail in public searches, wow, that's quite revealing.
It really is. And what's particularly striking is the fear that underlies these searches. Beyond just naming sites, you had queries like, does Iran have nuclear weapons, Iran nuclear weapons, and terms like uranium and enriched uranium.
Right.
It shows this profound immediate concern about the nature of Iran's program. Could it be weaponized? And then you get terms like bunker buster and even nuke.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that explicitly shows an immediate public worry, not just about the kind of weapons being used in the strike, but the terrifying potential for a much broader, maybe even nuclear escalation. People's minds immediately went to, well, worst-case scenarios.
That specter of escalation.
Yeah.
It brings us right to the profound war fears that clearly grip the public. These were some of those anxious questions we saw. Things like, are we at war? Is America at war? And the really alarming ones, WW3, World War III, has WW3 started? I mean, these aren't just casual questions. They show deep, immediate public anxiety about a huge global conflict kicking off. And specific to this situation, Is the us going to war with Iran, and will the us go to war with Iran?
And it wasn't just a general fear about war starting. It quickly broadened out to, okay, what about retaliation from Iran itself?
Yeah, a response.
Exactly. Queries like Iran response to us strikes, what will Iran do now, how will Iran respond, and will Iran retaliate against us? This shows a clear public focus on the immediate aftermath. What comes next? It's not just vague worry. It's like people were actively trying to calculate the risk of a dangerous tit for tat. What are the implications? Almost gaming out scenarios in real time.
And beyond the immediate battlefield, people were also, interestingly, quite focused on the political side of things, the regional context. For instance, there was this critical layer of curiosity about the political process back home. Questions like, did Trump get congressional approval to bomb Iran? And did Trump need congressional approval to strike Iran? That reveals public interest not just in what happened, but in the legality, the checks and balances, accountability, even in a crisis.
Right. And that concern about process and accountability, it quickly expanded to the bigger picture, the global chessboard of alliances. Searches for Iran allies. Who are Iran's allies? What countries support Iran? And these weren't just like trivia questions.
No.
They signal an underlying calculation of potential escalation paths. Who else might get dragged into this? It's that immediate mental mapping of a crisis going from just two countries to potentially many more. It reflects this awareness of how interconnected things are. And zooming out even further, the frequent appearance of Israel alongside Iran in searches, including things like Iran-Israel war, why is Iran attacking Israel, even who started the Iran-Israel war. That powerfully shows how deeply intertwined those regional tensions are in the public mind. Even when the trigger event wasn't directly about Israel, it immediately came up.
Fascinating how those connections are made so quickly. So finally, let's look at the voices and sources. Who was the public actually trying to listen to for updates? People were actively tracking things like Trump addressed the nation, Trump speech today, Trump live, Trump press conference, even Truth Social, or Donald Trump Truth Social came up. Looking for those official statements, updates directly from the president. It shows a desire to hear it straight from the top, prioritizing that direct communication from leadership.
Absolutely. And beyond just the official channels, the way specific individuals' names kept popping up in searches, it indicates they were seen as prominent voices. Commentators, officials, maybe perceived sources of reliable information during the event. The public was actively seeking perspectives from names like Pete Hegseth, Dan Kane, often with General Dan Kane, Jennifer Griffin, Sayeda Basarachi, Barack Ravid, Mike Lawler, Nancy Pelosi.
The real mix there.
A very diverse list. Aaron David Miller, Mark Kelly, and Mark Wayne Mullen. It shows people were casting a really wide net, looking beyond just the official statements to figure out what various public figures were saying, trying to piece together a fuller picture.
So, okay, what does this all actually mean for you listening? This deep dive into Operation Midnight Hammer, viewed through this unique lens, this raw data of public search queries, it offers a really profound insight, an insight into the immediate human response to crisis. It reveals, yes, a focus on the military action, but also that deep anxiety about nuclear facilities, those profound fears of global conflict, a demand for political accountability, and that immediate assessment of regional alliances. And all of this was happening alongside this keen, real-time interest in official communications and expert commentary.
Yeah, if we connect this to the bigger picture, this kind of analysis gives us a unique, unfiltered window. A window into the immediate landscape of public information needs, public anxieties, during a really high-stakes international incident. It's not about what the media decided to cover, but what the public actively sought out. And that offers, I think, a unique measure of collective concern, and just how quickly these complex geopolitical events cascade into very personal anxieties.
So for you, our listener, here's something to think about. Consider what your first search queries would be if a major international conflict suddenly erupted tomorrow. What does that tell you about the information you prioritize, about the questions you immediately need answered, and maybe how quickly public perception starts to take shape in a fast-moving, uncertain world?